Man, it has been a minute. Welcome back to today's video. It's been the first time in like 5 months, 6 months or something like that I've sat down to record a video. It has been a year, let me tell you that. Today I want to talk a little bit about Star Citizen. Now, I basically haven't played this since 4.0 came out. I kind of just got a bit frustrated and kind of over the... Drama's not the right word, but just everything going on with it, and so I just put it down. I haven't really played much really at all in the last 5 months, but I was bored today and I thought, oh, why don't I sit down and see where Star Citizen's at. Now, I don't know why I decided to do this to myself. It probably wasn't the smartest decision I've made for my own sanity, but here we are. I fired it up and loaded it into the world. Now, I want to talk a bit about kind of, I guess, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Star Citizen this year. Because it's been a turbulent year for them. I've kept up on some of the stuff, and granted, I think you see a lot of bias online when you see other people's opinions. But man, you look on Reddit, you look on Twitter, you look on YouTube, and the whole game has a massive negative connotation at the moment of just how bad it is, how they're not paying attention to the community, blah, 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 blah. And I haven't always kind of looked at it that way. I get why people are frustrated with it, being a 12-year project now or whatever we're at. I think we're probably well over 12 years when I think about it. But I think a lot of people back this game for the hope, maybe that's the right word, of of this. It's such a tricky subject because I see all sides of it. So I think the fact that we're having this conversation in 2025 is probably a bad sign anyway, but here we are. I don't think it's a make or break year for them. I think they've probably always got this slow trickle of new players coming in, and the fans that have been here for years aren't about to give up on it, but also probably aren't pumping a load of money in. So I don't think things are going to be too financially great, but that hasn't slowed down, I guess. They're still trending to be the first $1 billion game or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. So I sat down and played this. I actually streamed this for like 3.5, 4 hours. I just didn't record a VOD for whatever reason. I didn't really think about it. But yeah, I streamed it for like 3 or 4 hours and basically just tried to do some missions, do some just random stuff, and really was a frustrating 3 or 4 hours. But I want to talk a little bit about what I think about the current state of the game, and I want to start with the good stuff because good is good, right? They went into this year and they basically said they wanted to focus on like stability and gameplay. I think were their two like real core tenets of this year, of trying to make the game a game, if that makes sense. I definitely feel the game is way more stable than it was this time a year ago. Even when you look at when 4.0 released, I think the game is way more stable. I probably server hopped a few times over the gameplay session I had, and generally speaking, I think the whole thing was way better than I've experienced. And I appreciate there's also a lot of luck involved getting in the right servers, because that can really screw you up. But from what I saw, the game seemed way more stable. There were less bugs, and to be fair, you can see that, you know, the patch notes that they've been pumping out this year, every single one has got like tens and tens and tens of bugs squashed in that patch, right? And they must have patched hundreds of thousands of bugs this year, and unfortunately, I don't think that really touches the tip of where the game's at bug-wise, but certainly a lot of the real stuff that's been my bane of my existence, things like elevators and all that kind of shit, it is way, way better, I feel like, this year. It seems like they've also added a nice amount of stuff over the course of the year, free stuff. We'll touch on that bit in a minute, but it seems like the stuff in the game is pretty good. There's new armor variants and guns and, you know, some missions and kind of stuff like that. I think there's still a lot of improvements to go on all those fronts, but I think it's generally a lot better at this point this year than it has been in the last couple of years. Missions feel, you know, a bit more fluid, a little bit more natural. The UI is, every time I think I fire up the game, I feel like the UI looks different, but I feel like they're adding things into the UI that just make it a bit more crisp and a bit more refined. Like I just think the package as a whole is just ever so slightly better every time they update it, in terms of presentation, in terms of everything, right? Unfortunately, that's probably where the real good stuff stops, outside of, you know, the game still being fun when it's fun, right? It's still a super frustrating game to play. Like, there's enough bugs left in the game that at this point you can't ever see leaving the game. There's enough bugs that break the game, that kill the immersion, that put you into this huge gameplay loop that adds hours onto your sessions, but not in the good way, right? They're not fun hours. They're hours where you're just retracing your steps, trying to pick your loot up because you glitched through the world or glitched through a rock and died. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a real shame that is probably the one thing absolutely killing this game at the minute, is that the gameplay loops are so massively frustrating that it just drives people away. Like, in the 3-4 hours I played, I had so many bugs. Amazingly, the elevators all seem to work. That's usually been my bugbear. Touch wood, so that was okay. You know, I still had like items glitching through the world, and at points the UI just wouldn't react to whatever I was pressing or whatever, and the inventory would be buggy. You'd drag something onto your character and it would glitch into like a weird matrix, and then either end up on a new character or back in the original inventory or whatever. I got clicked out of Quantum Jump like twice. The fuel loads are still buggy. Missions just don't trigger half the time, it feels like, and I don't know if that's like someone's just completed the mission and now I try to play it, but the assets haven't respawned or whatever it is. But I just feel like half the stuff just doesn't work. It's frustrating because you might spend 45 minutes trying to just trigger a mission, and then you get there and nothing, or you die instantly or something stupid like that, and it just really kills just any momentum you have. Yeah, it just feels like they're making massive sideways steps rather than forward steps, not even big forward steps. It just feels like there's just a lot of sideways steps every time you load into a game. You're like, you wake up on your bed and wherever you are, and you're just like, oh man, well, this probably isn't going to work, but we'll try. And it's just frustrating. I don't know how much of this is server dependent. Again, it seems like the server stuff is way better than it was, again, even this time a year ago. But I still feel like there's a lot of luck in the server you land on. And, you know, when you load into a server and the chat's just full of people going, oh yeah, this doesn't work, or you need to kill yourself to get that to work, or whatever. It's like, man, it's just dumb. I feel like it doesn't feel like a game. It feels like a fucking job half the time. And it's just frustrating, you know. I feel like the game almost needs a quick rewind or a quick respawn button until they have that down, because I get that you can't just have a firefight, die fairly, and then hit a rewind button to where you were a minute ago just to bring yourself back alive. But there are so many times that you're on a planet that you've just spent an hour getting to, died because the ship you just landed glitched into the matrix and landed on you, and then you're stuck for an hour trying to just get back to your character to re-get your loot, which isn't even there half the time. Like, they need to admit they're still an alpha and have some sort of quick respawn or quick reset or something just to get the game fun to play, I think. And that's probably not going to be a hugely popular opinion, but for me, I think they need to make the game fun to get people want to play it, to keep the money coming in, to keep the game development going. Because, like, for me, the next big milestone monetarily for them as an income is going to be Squadron 42, which is meant to be next year. Honestly, I don't think there's a single person on this planet that actually expects Squadron 42 to come out in 2026. If it does, great. I really hope it does, but I just don't see it. And I think a lot of people don't see it. And that, obviously there's no like 5.0 plan for the near future, and there's no, the next big thing is a ways away. So the next big leap like they had with 4.0 is going to be Squadron 42. And I just hope they don't run out of money. Speaking of money, that's where it gets ugly. This is the one thing that really annoys me with Star Citizen, is how much greed there is monetarily. Now, I appreciate you don't have to buy the stuff that they're charging for, But man, charging like $40-50 for cars or skins or armor variants or guns or whatever it is insane. Like, I get they have to have revenue streams, but man, I cannot get behind charging what they charge for half the stuff. Like, if it was $5 for a skin pack or something, fair enough. But charging like 20, 30, $40 for skin packs or guns or, you know, even furniture that you don't really do anything with yet. Like, you can decorate your hanger, sure, but it was luck of the draw whether it's still there when you respawn. Like, it's just fundamentally wrong that they charge what they charge at the minute for some of the add-on stuff. And like I said, I appreciate you don't have to buy it. I'm not saying anyone should go and buy it, but it seems crazy to me what they're doing. And I think you can see that in the backlash all over the internet from that kind of stuff. And I fear they're not really listening to the community with what the community want, right? Like, I think the community wants a fun, playable package right now. And there's so much feature creep or whatever you want to call it with the game that, man, you can be doing one thing 1 minute and it's like, man, this just isn't fun. Or you are having fun, you die, and then instantly you just don't want to play anymore. And I think that's evident with a lot of other games that are just as grindy as Star Citizen. But like, when you die, you don't just lose every single ounce of like motivation you had. Like, maybe that's just me, but yeah, I just think overall there's so much feature creep and removed features. Like, even look at 4.0 and look at how many features were cut from 4.0. And it's like, man, it's hard to trust the company, because ultimately it's the company making the decisions, right? I don't think there's anyone that doesn't trust the devs or the community team, because this is a passion project for those guys, I'm sure. Like, they want to pump out the best game ever made, which is what Star Citizen's trying to be, right? But man, every time the management decisions are getting made, it obviously makes the devs look silly, I'm sure, to them. Like I said, I'm sure most of us appreciate that it's not that, but man, it's just hard to have any faith in the management, I guess. That's what it comes down to. That's where the buck stops, and I think that's what's really going to trip this game up, is the management of it. And I really hope they can get through these issues. I really hope they can launch what should be a real polished Squadron 42 next year. And man, if that game releases as a buggy mess, there may be no coming back, genuinely. But we'll see. I still like the game. I still have faith in the game. I still really, 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 really want the game to come out one day. But I'm also a realist, and we will see if it does come to fruition. But still, I'll pick this game up every couple of months, see where we're at, and if there's a big release inbound, then cool, I'll give it a go. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Apologies, it's been a hot minute since my last upload. Trying to get back on a schedule now, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.